So we just turned off the live actually there for a moment to try to reset the quality. So hopefully back here with some better streaming quality for you. Sometimes the connection here just needing a quick little jimmy as Stonehouse will now collect this on the near sideline. Finds Campbell back. Campbell over to Hunter. Darren Hunter resetting that up to Stonehouse Penguin Village, kind of in a 3-dominator set as Stonehouse tried to shoot an inside backhand upfield there, and that one's going to be too far out of the hands of Ali Turnquist.
It's a very, very technical throw in the wind, and just unable to execute. It looked good coming out of his hand, but not able to convert there. So Mastadon's going to look to get their second break here.
So Mastadon now in possession of the disc back at their own end zone. Looking for the little pop up the top to Chu. Puts that into the middle. Trying to move it quickly now over to Proby. Proby just keeping that one in bounds, and they go all the way up the field to Carolyn Churchland for the goal here, and that immediately is 2-0 for Mastadon.
Yeah, like you said, Proby able to keep her feet. I don't think she realized how close she was to the end zone here. The lines marked on the field are in blue, and I don't think she realized. She was probably looking at some of our media cones here thinking that was out of bounds, but able to keep her left foot in when she caught the disc and fire the disc up the sideline. But great job by Mastadon, again, converting on the second score, so it makes it 2-0 for them.
Yeah, and of course, again, the active call on the field being made for the in and outs by the observers, the same for the call whether it's in or out of the end zone. So sometimes throwing players off when you don't play with observers all the time. A few Penguin Village players were pointing to the line because of how close it was. So looks like that one was going to stay. Of course, our observers today, Stephanie Woods and Alan as well.
I don't know what his last name is.
You know, and I do, and now I can't remember it.
That's
so
okay.
He may not forgive me for that one after, but that's okay. Right now, more importantly, Mastadon off to a good start. 2 breaks right away to start this game, and Penguin Village close both times, managing to get good shots into the end zone, but unable to convert on those attempts.
And this pull going just out of bounds on the far side there. Mastadon had some pretty good pulls in the first 2 here, allowing them to set up, but that one just a bit errant.
So it'll give Penguin Village a chance now to set up on the brick mark here with Justin Lee bringing this disc into play for the team in white. Lee is going to look for the initiation from the front of the stack here. Lofstrom moving the disc back to Lee. Lee pushes that one a little bit upfield to Burgess. Resetting to Lee. Trying not to force anything upfield here with a bit of poachy defense. You see Wendy LeBreton was poached in the lanes there as now Mastadon is trying to clamp down, and Penguin Village trying to swing it up the field here. Matt Lofstrom again. Putting a little blade over around to Burgess. Back to Lee through a little bit of traffic there, but not many options for them as now they find one in Bud Fogel, 2 yards from the end zone. Fogel again looking for their first point of the game to get them on the board, and a miscommunication there as Lofstrom was pointing to him that he was cutting back the other way.
Yeah, and Lofstrom should have just stayed where he was. He was on the open side with his defender on the wrong side of him. He could have stayed put and scored the goal easily, but that's probably what his thrower was thinking, but he wasn't thinking the same, so quick miscue causes a turnover.
But right away, that one put too high over the head. Matt Fisher there putting that ahead of Wendy LeBreton gives Penguin Village a chance on the doorstep again. We'll see if they convert as Justin Lee trying to act as the general of this offensive unit. A new offensive line out here for Penguin Village after being broken twice. Looking now, Lofstrom looking for an option. Can't find one, resets to Lee. Lee shooting the inside shot there. Burgess to the end zone, but again, that one too far ahead of the receiver. And right now, Penguin Village just running all through their male handlers and not really getting the rest of the field involved.
And it feels like for Mastadon on defense, they can't really figure out what their force is. It looks like there's two players who keep forcing the flick on a right-handed player, and then the rest of the team is looking to get a backhand out of them. So they're also neither team here connecting how they would like.
LeBreton will shoot that one right up here, floating a little bit, trying to chase that one down, but Jill Calkin can't quite get there, but there is going to be a call back on the play. Philip Davidson trying to go up for that one.
And like you said, Calkin with the chance to get the second effort on that, but unable to read the MAC off of the two players, Davidson, and I'm not sure his defender is Lofton perhaps. Yeah. So the disc looks like it's going back. The discussion, Phil Davidson calling the foul, and the Penguin Village player disagreeing, politely, of course.
So it looks like the disc will return to Wendy LeBreton. A contested foul on the play. So the player's just looking to reset right now. Wendy Chapman on the mark. Both Wendy's marking each other from these two teams here right now as LeBreton gets us back underway, shooting that one under to Davidson. A bit of pressure D, but no worries as they now go up the line with Fisher. Fisher to LeBreton. No worries going up the line and puts that one out into space, but it's going to trail away from the receiver. Not really a chance there for a play, and it gives the disc back to Penguin Village.
Yeah, and the flick, flick there getting picked up by the wind and forcing it a bit higher than intended. That wind coming from left to right, but across the field as well.
That one bobbled, but kept in play with Lofstrom, and he will shoot that deep. That's a bit of a laser, but it's going to hang just into the end zone. Outstretched hands reaching to get that one, and Corey Burgess gets the goal here for Penguin Village.
Very, very, I want to say fortunate or lucky for the Penguin Village receiver. The disc just happened. Felt like it was being held up by magnets there. It just kept floating and floating and floating. The Mastadon player, Davidson, went up way too soon, it seemed like. But the disc able to carry all the way to the end zone for the Penguin Village player. And that puts Penguin Village on the board.
Yeah, Penguin Village, a bit of a laser on that one, and we have seen a bit of wind, but clearly the wind has died off a little bit now in the afternoon. So that one, like you said, floating and hanging for a lot longer than I think both the receiver and defender thought it would. So taking advantage of that, Penguin Village getting themselves on the board here. Don't want to go down 3 breaks right at the start of the game. So you see them put either their second offensive unit or their D-line, actually, it looks like, was out on that point, able to get them the hold.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many teams are able to do that, where they can actually change a team that primarily plays defense to switch out and come and play an offensive point and then hold better than your offensive line. Generally, it's the other way around. For some reason, the Mastodon team didn't really realize the pull was up there, and they're finally charging down to pick the disc up.
So disc now in play, looking for the inside shot upfield. Putting that one around. Sebastian finds a reset. Now back into the middle with Ellis. Ellis finds Chu. Putting that one up to Churchland. Sebastian again. Right now just dominating these under lanes as they have it 1 yard from the end zone, but it's dropped just a little bit, bobbled off the outstretched arms of the receiver there, and it'll give Penguin Village a chance now at their first break of the game. Swinging that back into the middle. Howlett now resetting to the far sideline. Lofstrom with the disc for Village here as that one goes up again to Polo Howlett. Lofstrom. The cutters right now for Penguin Village a little bit deep, and some poachy defense in the lanes here from Mastadon, trying to jam up those upfield options as Lofstrom going 1 and 2, trying to generate something. Now putting that up line, and a touch there from Tracy Ellis puts that too far away of the hands of the Penguin Village receiver.
And great awareness to make that play as well. A little bit of a poachy D, but great job on getting a hand on it.
Ivy Sebastian now puts that one inside. Alex Chu with the disc. Now over to this near sideline with O'Brien. He'll put the inside backhand. Visionary shot to Carolyn Churchland, but just through her hands. Maybe had too much time to think about that one.
I think that was one of those situations, Becky, where the disc appears to hop right before you put your hands on it, because it looked like she had it dialed in, and all of a sudden, no, she did not. So a great look from the thrower, but unfortunately unable to connect with Churchland there in the end zone.
Yeah, Sean O'Brien, great vision to see her on that shot and make, like we've said before, such a difficult throw to execute. But now Penguin Village holstering on the far sideline. Putting that one back around to Lofstrom. Lofstrom resetting the disc. Howlett puts that, looking for the receiver of Catherine Shore, but another poach block here for Mastadon as they go straight back to Churchland in the end zone. Easy hold and goal here for Mastadon.
Took him a couple efforts, but they got it done in the end, and Mastadon takes it to go up 3-1. Finally finding Churchland in the end zone, like we mentioned, that one that jumped and went through her hands, but this time she made sure and collected it in the end zone for the goal. So I think Mastadon now looking like the better team off the bat. I mean, 2 breaks in a row, that's not surprising commentary from Lucas, but yeah, Mastadon definitely looking like they're in control of this game. They're a bit more fluid on offense, and they've actually had it. The Ds they generated have been on poaches, so perhaps their whole defense is based around that as well.
So Penguin Village taking a quick timeout here. Looks like they don't want to let Mastadon run away too much in this game, seeing that they are currently in control, like you said, going on 2 breaks right at the start of this game and not really getting all of their team involved on the field right now. Mastadon electing to play 4 women, and gotta say, for Penguin Village on that last point, not getting any of their women involved, so only playing through 3 players on that last point there. So they're going to need to readjust that, I think, and work some more players on the field in if they want to compete with the depth that Mastadon does have.
Yeah, you said it right, Becky. I have no further comments.
So we'll see what they can do coming out of the timeout here. Lucas, you've been a captain and coach for various different teams in your career as well. What would you tell your Penguin Village team at this point?
They seem stressed out. I would tell them to just calm down a little bit. They look like they're antsy to get it done. We talked about this already, that the D-line played a bit better, more silky, chiller offense. Yeah, convert that over to the O-line as well. Hey, guys, what are you trying to do, girls? Let's try and make it happen. You mentioned as well that they're isolating their male players. Throw to the girls, guys. Let's go. That might be the difference maker. Unless you open up the entire field, you're never going to be able to find weaknesses in the other team. So that's probably what I'm telling them. Spread the field a bit more. Let's get more people hands on the disc and play a bit more relaxed and smooth.
So Mastadon will come out here with a chance to extend their lead. Currently leading 3-1 very early in this game, and a few quick points there that we saw as well. So obviously plenty of time for Penguin Village to stay involved here, but definitely wanting to get a hold here instead of going down by 3 points early in this game.
Yeah, Mastodon's playing, like I said, a bit poachier defense. They've gotten lucky a couple of times. If Penguin Village can figure out how to make that, how to expose that poach player and see what they can do with that, we might see a bit of a different offensive look.
So we see the same now, the familiar offensive line for Penguin Village back on the field. But an offside called after that pull, and the Penguin Village and Mastadon players who got down there first, they're exchanging a little high five in the middle. Acknowledgement that they were both booking it down to the other side of the field.
Just so excited to play. Just so excited.
So Mastadon here will set to pull again.
Yeah, and as a reminder, you guys who didn't see it earlier, you get 2 offsides per game before you give up the yardage, the instant brick at half court, essentially.
So Brett Campbell now with the disc here for Penguin Village. Darren Hunter putting it back to Campbell. Looking for an option and finds Stonehouse on the near sideline. Stonehouse will reset that one to Campbell. A little bit low, but plenty of time for Hunter to run on to that one as they go 1 and 2 now with Brett Campbell. Campbell will opt for the hammer over to a wide open Alan Stonehouse. A pick was called. Stonehouse had quite a bit of separation for quite some time, so maybe either missing the previous pick call or the call a little bit too far.
Yeah, I believe 51 from Baker was the one who got picked, but he wasn't anywhere nearby to catch up all the way. I think the disc will stay with Lofstrom, but
yeah, Alan Stonehouse with the disc there. Try and see what the outcome will be. I think maybe just thinking that there had previously been some contact. It is possible sometimes players do miss those calls and continue their cut, which does make it look like there was more space than there may have been at the time of the call. So we'll see what, if the observers get involved, what they saw as well.
Yeah, sorry, thanks for the correction there. It is Stonehouse with the disc.
They do all have the same hat for the most part, so I'll forgive you, but only this time.
They're tall white guys. It's tough to tell. But yeah, 20 minutes into this game, we've seen 4 points happen already. We're on the 5th point here. Mastadon leading 3-1 with 2 breaks right off the bat to send them up 2-0 and 2 holds since then. So
it looks like the disc will stay with Stonehouse. The Mastodon player caught up just by a couple yards there, but acknowledging that there would have been no actual defensive play on that disc, and Stonehouse will tap us back in here on the far sideline, faking the up line. Now looking to Darren Hunter, who'll reel that one in 10 yards from the end zone. Stonehouse there actually signaling a stall down call, but it is an injury call here from Mastodon.
Yeah, it's Nilu Rishi who looks like she's hobbling off the field slowly here.
So they'll take an injury sub. Danny Proby will come on here for Mastodon. Penguin Village not taking a sub at this point. Disc in with Hunter. Looking back to Campbell in the middle. Campbell surveying his options. Not finding too many, so resets, losing some yards here. Penguin Village being pushed back. Some tight defense on the upfield options being forced right now to use their handlers. Now looking again. Campbell to the end zone, looking for Darren Hunter. That one milked into the back of the end zone there, makes it a hold here for Penguin Village.
Yeah, and like you said, Becky, they're not too much upfield for them to find, but Campbell wasn't doing himself any favors by generating the break side for him. His fakes was literally him tapping his right foot in the ground, trying to get a boogie going, but not getting his mark to move at all. So in the end, he was able to throw an open side flick because that is the open side, but not helping his cutters at all by moving his mark around and opening up the break side.
Yeah, definitely interesting there. I do think that the tight defense upfield right now for Mastodon causing some problems and maybe a little bit of panic with the Penguin Village handlers who are feeling like they need to do it themselves with the defense shutting down a lot of their opportunities. So definitely going to need to find some ways to work that out and to stay calm despite the pressure on the field from Mastodon.
So yeah, the score being 3-2 now. Mastodon up 2 breaks. Still looking to convert this offensive hold as well. And we give a quick shout out to a couple of sponsors we have here today. Discraft for providing all the game discs. Those are cool. If you ever get to see the top of them, it says game disc right on it. And the Vancouver Ultimate League, who helped organize here in Surrey.
Disc now in play here with Tracy Ellis, putting that to the near sideline for Chenoweth. A little touch on the hand there, but Danny Proby cutting under, takes that one into possession still here. Proby back to Chenoweth. Some more tight defense here, looking for an option. Centers that one. O'Brien putting the inside shot to Ellis. Ellis breaks around to Churchland. Churchland on the doorstep of the end zone, fakes the inside shot, and now back to O'Brien. The little cheeky scoober over the shoulder there of Lee finds Proby in the end zone, and that is a great hold here from Mastadon.
It looked a little bit shaky there with the throw under for Proby coming down on the near side of the field here where she got trapped against the sideline, unable to find something up the field, but they're able to break it across. And I think that's something Mastadon's done a little bit better, is actually breaking the mark and moving it to the far side of the field. With your trailing defender on the upfield cutters, it makes it a bit easier to make throws. Well, a bit easier. You still have to break the mark, right? But easier to hit your open defender because you don't have to compete with, or open offender because you don't have to compete with a defender streaking on the open side.
So Mastadon holding their lead of 2 points here. Penguin Village have looked a little bit stronger since coming out of that timeout, still needing to generate a little bit more chemistry amongst their team and trust their upfield receivers just a little bit more, but still overall looking a bit stronger than that first 2 points we saw in the game. See how much that changes over the course of the next couple points. Definitely going to want to establish a little bit more flow in this game before we get close to that halftime mark. About halfway away from that now if it continues this way, as Matt Fisher will pull the disc here for Mastadon. That one's going to be a high disc sailing out of bounds on the far side and over into the stands.
So Penguin Village will get the disc at the brick mark. Somebody had to go find it underneath the stands there. Oh, very good thumb. That was pretty cool. But Penguin Village starting with it on the brick mark now in a vertical offensive set.
So Brett Campbell tapping it in here, looking under to Stonehouse. Stonehouse looking for the reset, doesn't find it right away. Campbell continuing his cut, and now over to Hunter. Stonehouse. Stonehouse low on upfield options right now. That one sailing over the head of Brenna. That throw coming up a little bit late for where she was cutting to, and it's going to give Mastadon a chance to go back about 50 yards to the end zone. Disc now moving upfield to Sebastian. Dishing that one inside and just moving it around through Davidson. Now just outside of the end zone with Knuckle. Davidson will milk that just a yard out of the end zone, but the little dish in, disc behind Fisher, but manages to get behind himself and reach over to make that grab.
And that's a break for Mastadon. They're third. So they're definitely running away with a defensive game here. Penguin Village unable to figure out what can work for them on offense, getting broken 3 times here. I have no suggestions for them. They just look a bit, their stack looks great. They look composed to start, but as soon as that first disc moves, there's no continuation for them. I think that's where they're struggling, is that first move is great, but the second and third moves are not happening for them. Mastadon taking advantage of that miscommunication and misorganization and actually getting the Ds and converting on them as well, which is tough to do.
Yeah, Penguin Village just needing to generate a little bit more chemistry upfield still. They're looking and they're starting to look more into those lanes. Like you said, their stack does look good. The cuts are coming quite often, in fact, but just not executing on that throw upfield there to Brittany Brenna. A little bit too far over her head behind where her cut was coming to. So just needing to execute a few of those options a little bit better. Take a deep breath as well. They're now down 3 points, so they're going to want to start to figure out some of that rhythm sooner rather than later. Of course, you never want to leave it to too late in the game.
Yeah, with already being 3 breaks down, you'd look to hold this and get your first break of the game to make pull a bit of the momentum back to your side as well.
Hunter now in possession. The same offensive line out here as that one goes up to Tornquist. Tornquist looking for an option. Will find Brett Campbell, who keeps that in bounds, and now shooting to Stonehouse. Davidson trying to track it down as well, and that one sails out of bounds. Looks like the disc will be going back here with Mastadon, as that one, no play on it as it went sailing out of the near side of the end zone here.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of players not realizing that the lines are painted in blue here again. I think Stonehouse thought he had it inbounds, but those dash marks are just for the observer lines and observer lanes. Unable to pull it down in the solid blue lines.
That one now in the middle with Davidson. Finding Chu. Tornquist on the mark here for Village as Mastadon looks fairly calm and in control on this point already. Proby in the middle. Proby shoots that one over to the far sideline. Baker now upfield. Chan shooting. That one's going to hang in the end zone. Easy grab there. Hannah Gustafson gets the grab, gets the goal, and Mastadon are in the driver's seat in control at 6-2.
Yeah, even with an air bounce backhand, which I am vehemently against throwing, they just count perfectly for a receiver to grab and pull down in the end zone there. So yeah, you're right, Becky. Another break for for Mastadon, and they're starting to run away with it here. I mean, it is early, and we still have lots of game to play. But with 4 breaks already, it's tough to discount them having a great game. So we'll see. Penguin Village looks like, yeah, they're going to change up their set. The Stonehouse and a couple others coming off the field to take a break and give somebody else a kick at the can. And Mastadon, you know what, I just keep that same line out there until they stop breaking, you know, or when they do break, when they pass out from exhaustion. But they are doing great so far with 4. So we can see if they can make it 5 or if Penguin Village is going to start to put some holds on us here.
And of course, that goes to the saying of if it ain't broke, why fix it? And right now, the defensive unit here from Mastadon is in control and playing the game on their terms right now. So they'll set to pull here, looking to extend this lead. That one's going to sit low and hang in the middle of the field here for Penguin Village. Now in play, Howlett and Lee going 1 and 2. Lee will shoot that one around backhand nicely into the hands of the receiver. And now into the end zone for the goal. Penguin Village responding fast and sure of themselves now. Catherine Shore, of course, with that goal. And they keep themselves in the conversation.
Great pun. Great pun. Very for it. That was only a 3-pass offense. The dish. No, it was 2 passes. Just the dish and the shot. That was great. So Penguin Village coming out and showing me that I don't know anything of what I'm talking about, playing some smooth offense there and putting themselves into the game with 6-3 now, Mastadon leading. So Mastadon will have to force their O-line to come out there and actually hold, having not played in a little while, but it looks like most of the players are playing on both lines here, so there's no definitive O and D lines for Mastadon. On the downside, on the other side at Penguin Village, they're hoping and looking to get their first break now with the disc in their hands and maybe make this a bit more of a tighter first half.
Sometimes teams do struggle in the first few points of a game and are able to come back and gain some control of their own and some momentum. We've talked so much about how momentum can change the course of a game, and ultimate really can be a game of swings depending on how your team is generating that energy from the sideline, that energy on the field as well, of course. So now a chance here to see if they can start to get some of that momentum, a good hold on that last point as this pull comes into play from Burgess. And will land right in the middle. Ellis to pick up here for Mastadon. Now just looking for a reset and a poached off run through D. That disc not far ahead enough of Knuckle, and it's going to give Penguin Village here, Justin Lee, a chance 2 yards from the end zone, looking for their first break of the game. Bring this game back into their control. Shooting the around backhand. That one is reeled in for the goal. Amy Milne with the score here. Penguin Village make it 6-4.
That's what I'm talking about. Bring a tighter first half together, and Penguin Village listened to me this time and made it a quick turnover and a quick fast break to score their first break of this game. So Lots of breaks in our vocabulary here. Maybe we should spread it out a little bit with some more stuff to talk about. But Penguin Village is doing a great job there, again, to the break side of the field as well to throw that backhand. So that was something I was talking about a bit earlier that they were struggling with, that I said they should look to move the disc to the break side first and maybe stop forcing it to the open side. Another thing they're doing, they're spreading the field a bit more. Becky, you're saying a lot more different names now. We're starting to see this Penguin Village open up their roster a bit and spread the love around.
Yeah, I think starting to understand that they're playing against a team that will take advantage of the mistakes they make when they don't use the entire field, the 7 players out there. So starting to spread it around, like you just said, Lucas, and paying off. They get themselves their first break, only down 6-4. See if that can really help them generate any kind of momentum here. Mastadon, of course, will look to stop it in its tracks. We see same top players back on this line. Wendy LeBreton has been so good on offense here. So is Carolyn Churchland. So we'll see what they can do as this one will be centered to Fisher. Now at field to Rose. Here's LeBreton now. Looking for the inside shot, an open receiver here. Now just finding the reset in Fisher. Near sideline, Chenoweth puts the inside shot up to Rose. Rose will put the around backhand. Carolyn Churchland making it look so easy here, and Mastadon keep their lead at 3, up 7-4.
Yeah, and a great job spreading themselves out there. Their offensive set coming right out of the pull. Everyone was spread out. We had number 7, I think, streak across the field. And sorry, that was Karen Rose, who struck across the field on a slash cut, got the disc, and then looked to move it to LeBreton, who actually, so I think that's why Becky's having such a trouble with her name, is she's married to Derek Cheng, and they combined their last names to make it Le Cheng. So LeBreton and or Le Cheng, whichever you prefer, doing a great job moving the disc as well. And Churchland again, streaking. She wants all the goals this game. She's not happy unless she's scoring goals, so that's great. But Mastadon, yeah, getting a bit of their mojo back here as well.
Yeah, Mastadon with so many players who've played at high levels in the Vancouver Ultimate scene. Carolyn Churchland, a great one that we will talk about. I'm sure we'll say her name throughout the course of this game. An incredibly talented player has found herself on at least 3 or 4 of the ends of these goals already, up at 7-4 here. Looking now to come and take half. They could break to take half, up 4 points. Definitely another strong line on with the likes of Davidson, Sebastian, Karen Wright out there as well, and Penguin Village with their familiar O-line back on the field. This O-line hasn't been doing too well for them. Only 1 point converted by their actual offensive unit so far in this game.
And struggling here already on the first pass. I don't know why he hasn't run out of 10 stalls yet, but
so Campbell finds Allie Tornquist. Looking for a reset option now, back with Campbell. Campbell surveying the field here and not seeing a lot of options, so he will go around that one, laying out to keep that one in possession. Sasha with the hold there to retain that one, and now a call upfield.
Do you reckon there was a contact call when when he had the disc at the first place there? Because that seemed like a long stall count.
That is always possible. Of course, contact doesn't stop the play. It does reset the count. So definitely possible as Hunter now near sideline, putting it back to Brett Campbell in the middle. But a static upfield here for Penguin Village as Campbell shoots inside to Stonehouse. Stonehouse puts that one up with Shore. Shore finds Tornquist through some traffic. Over to Hunter. Hunter shooting that one, looking for Stonehouse. Davidson gets a touch on it. The second attempt there, almost in the hands of Stonehouse, but manages to fall to the ground as Mastadon a chance to break to take half here.
Great effort from Stonehouse there to try and get it, but unfortunately just out of his reach.
That one over to Wright. Wright just trying to make sure she was inbound, so towing the line and laying out there to keep that one in possession. Resetting the disc now to Baker. Baker putting the inside shot. Now on the far side with Ian Chan. Baker going every other throw in this handler set here. Chan again looking for Davidson in the end zone, and he will reel that in just inside the end zone line to take us to half. Mastadon leading 8-4.
What a great first half from Mastadon. Penguin Village just unable to keep up with them and force them to make any real mistakes with only one break coming out of the Penguin Village side. It's tough to keep up with Mastodon 6, so, or sorry, 5. I think it's 5 breaks. And taking half at 8-4. Great effort from Mastodon.
So we're going to take our own halftime here as well, take a little short break, and we'll be back with you in about 3 minutes with second half action. Don't go anywhere. Ultimate Championship in Winnipeg only 2.5 weeks ago. So would have had a chance to maybe watch each other play, and it looks like Mastadon taking advantage of that and making some adjustments here, which are paying off against this Penguin Village team. That one will sail right into the hands of Brett Campbell as he finds Tornquist. Tornquist, a touch on the hand of Wendy LeBreton. The hand block there. Lofstrom, that one too far for him as Davidson picks up.
Great block from LeBreton there. Lots of hand.
Now on the far sideline here, Chan putting it back with LeBreton. LeBreton will shoot an inside shot to Wright. Wright fakes the hammer. Through a little bit of traffic there to Calkin, and now LeBreton again. Right on the end zone line, into the end zone, into space. Darren Hunter getting a touch. That one sitting up, but sitting out of bounds, so unable to make a play on it.
Yeah, regardless if he'd gotten a grab there, it wouldn't have mattered. He was well out the back, so unfortunate there, but Mastodon's going to have to work again to get another turnover.
Darren Hunter bringing this one back into play as he finds Campbell. Campbell to Lofstrom. Campbell, you can tell, looking only for deep options, and now finding his shot.
Oh, that might or might not be a call on that play.
Lofstrom just, I think, unaware there. Nothing malicious necessarily, but unaware of the space around him as his eyes were only on that disc. And in doing so, Jill Calkin was also in that space and running straight into her, and I think understandable to see a call on this play. Again, I don't think it was malicious, but I do think his eyes were a little bit too focused on the disc, and at some point it does become a responsibility to look up and see what space you're running into as well.
Yeah, definitely. And the sense, I mean, you can use your ears as well. You can hear there's players running behind you. I haven't played a lot of mixed, but I'm sure you can tell the difference between a female footsteps and a male footsteps for sure. So keeping awareness all around you, using all the senses. Maybe not use taste, but yeah, you can use your ears and your eyes and keep your head in the game. But that's going to generate a turnover.
Yeah, Lofstrom there after the discussion opting to not contest the foul, so the right outcome again in my opinion, as Davidson has it now. Davidson centering that to Wright. Now, Sunita Siesha there getting the run through D.
Yeah, silly throw. Should have holstered that, but good on the defensive player to keep on her check and make sure she made that D.
Yeah, so Shia there coming through with that one, using her speed to get to that, giving Penguin Village a chance to hold as Campbell puts that one around. It's going to float, but Hunter reeling that one under the pressure of Fisher. Now surveying the options as Lofstrom centers that back. Now over on the far side for Penguin Village, and now again the shot to the end zone. Coverage here and sailing out of bounds. Lofstrom, this is a few times now that Penguin Village has so wanted to hang on to those throws, but ever so slightly and always sailing out of bounds.
Just the wrong edge. It just kept the disc, forced the wind to make a bit of play on the disc and force it out of bounds. I think if it was a bit of a flatter throw, perhaps it would have hung and straddled the sideline a little bit, but unfortunately just sailed out near the back cone there.
So LeBreton now going the other way, but that one just blading a little bit too short. Gives the disc back here to Penguin Village, and LeBreton, you could see on her face right after that, knew that wasn't the throw she wanted to put up. And now the scuba from Campbell to the end zone, but the pressure and Lofstrom there thinking maybe he had more time than he did, and that bobbles off of his chest. Disc back in play with Mastadon. Churchland just surveying the field. A little bit of static movement here from the Mastadon team as well. This is the last game of the day in pool play, so maybe a little bit of tiredness, but not for Churchland, who was streaking in quickly to that one, but not quite close enough to her as Campbell again shooting for the end zone. Tornquist coming into that one, but unable to get up for that as that was a laser. She had to make a play on it there, but unable to bring it in.
And Chan looks like he's taking a sub. So Ian Chan from Mastadon is taking an injury sub.
And Brittany Brenna will take one here as well for Penguin Village.
So I wouldn't be surprised actually to see a timeout come out of Mastadon here when they pick the disc up. It's been a long point. We've been out here probably for about 4 or 5 minutes on this one particular point. Looks like LeBreton's going to be the one to walk back and pick the disc up. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if either she calls it or centers the disc and somebody else calls the timeout.
Yeah, one of the longest points we've seen in the course of this game as it's tapped back in the ground tap just to signal the restart of play after the injury call. LeBreton will jog this one up to the line. Centering to the middle, no timeout call yet. Right. Faking off the inside shot to the open reset. Penguin Village trying to stay with the tight person-to-person D. A little bit of the poach upfield. You can see Lofstrom there allowing Davidson the under. Clearly a little bit more concerned about the outcut there as Baker now has it on the near side. Back with Wright. Karen Wright will find Wendy LeBreton. Upfield now, Gustafson. Baker. Mastadon making easy work now as Davidson 10 yards from the end zone, centering it to Baker. Davidson again, a little bit of poach coverage there, but it's reeled in anyways. And now Davidson to Baker in the end zone, extending their lead. They lead by 6 points now at 10-4.
And great job by Mastadon to outwork their opponent. That's essentially what won them that point there. You could see Lofton and a couple of other the Penguin Village players just not able to keep up with their checks on the person-to-person defense, and Mastadon outworking them with patience and made sure that they put it in there. Penguin Village just not looking like they're going to be digging deep for this one, emptying any tanks today. Any other metaphors you've got? Mastadon looking very much in charge of this.
And take a moment here to shout out the other major Ultimate Frisbee tournament happening at the same time as this one. The World Junior Ultimate Championships are taking place in Waterloo, Ontario, and both of our Canadian teams there on to semifinals tomorrow. The U20 men's team will face France in the morning, and TC U20 women will face Colombia. Both of those have happened before, with Canada beating France 15-11. And on the women's side, losing to Colombia 13-11. So definitely some exciting games there tomorrow as well. We'll try to get you updates on how our national teams do. But for now, still in club competition here, mixed masters division at CUC Surrey. Mastadon up 10-4 on Penguin Village, who just look a little bit outmatched in this game.
Yeah, like you said, during that point, third pool play game of the day. Long games, maybe the first two, but this one definitely taking a toll on Penguin Village's legs.
Chapman, that disc back now with Lee as he finds Howlett. Now a bit of a zone look here from Mastadon as they try to change it up, maybe taking the advantage of their lead to try and work out the kinks in a different defensive look as Chapman has it. Now back with Lee. Lee putting that one to the near sideline with Howlett. That one's going to float up, and it will be picked off. Defensive play there from Zaba. Farouk Zaba making that D as Karen Rose has it, now shooting to the end zone for Ellis. Observers ruled that was just on the line, and Ellis getting too excited that Sebastian was open and puts it too far in front of her.
Again, the observers make the active in and out calls on the sidelines as well as in the end zone. So if you don't see any hands coming up from the observer, you better keep playing.
It's interesting, both of these teams as well, having recently played at the World Masters Ultimate Club Championships. They play with advisors in the WIFDIF system who do not make active calls, are only there to echo it, as we see now Farouk Zaba immediately getting the D back and dishing this one, no mistakes, into the end zone for Kevin Chenoweth. And that is an easy hold. Again, like you said earlier, Lucas, Mastadon outworking their opponents, and they lead 11-4.
Yeah, it's just it's simple now, and I think you're right there with the defensive set they came down with, maybe trying some different things, using something they've used or practiced against one another, which is, yeah, that's one thing, practicing it, but using your defense against an active team who maybe has different strategies, and it gives you practice when you don't practice. So yeah, I think we'll see a lot more funny stuff coming from Mastadon, them being well in control of this game, up 7 points and probably six breaks. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see what else they pull out. And Penguin Village shouldn't use this as a just throw it away either. You can learn something from anything, right? So they should be potentially trying new things themselves. Maybe pull out a couple of plays you haven't ran throughout the weekend yet. I mean, it's only been one day, but try something different. Try something you haven't worked on in a while, and give yourself the opportunity to learn something in this situation as well.
So we'll see if they get the chance to do that. Maybe take a little bit of our advice there.
It's good advice. I mean, I know what I'm talking about. That's why I'm out here, right? And if you guys have advice, too, you can tweet at us at Lucas Main and at RJ_Thompson16 and give some advice that maybe we can spread with the rest of the world here.
Hunter will pick this one up for Penguin Village. The zone look again, a slightly different zone look as well here for Mastadon. That previous zone, they came down in a 3-3-1, now opting for the 4-person cup with a mark and 3 people on the wall, only 2 mids and a deep, so a slightly different look. So trying new things here as Campbell is forced to lose the yards to reset that one to Hunter. Campbell and Hunter staying trapped on that far sideline. Village trying to find an option. Will go for the hammer all the way to a wide open Stonehouse, and he will shoot. Tornquist open past the deep. And you have to wonder where those plays have been all game, but Tornquist and Stonehouse making that one look so easy as they make it 11-5.
Yeah, where has that been all game? An easy swing to the break side, or in this case, past the cup, and then a throw deep. Yeah, Mastadon coming down with a tall man mark and a 3-person cup. So that was tough for, I think, the player on the far sideline there. Got a bit scared, potentially the female player who probably doesn't get a 6-foot-plus person marking up on her very often, but she was able to break it through to this side of the field, and Lofton with a great throw there to hang it up for the receiver.
Tornquist there as well, making easy work of the deep there. Davidson in that space, but cutting behind him to the end zone. And maybe a case there of, we talk about Mastodon putting on a new defensive look on those last 2 points. So maybe just the lack of sideline help there, remind themselves that they need to be talking to that deep defender to take away those chances. But Penguin Village making that look easy. See if they can generate a couple more points here. Get themselves a break on the board.
That'd be nice.
Yeah,
I'd like that.
We're exactly an hour into this game, so there is 25 minutes left, and they're 6 points down. So if they started their run now, anything is possible, but they would have to start it just about right now, Lucas.
Well, that's a great pull to start them off, so let's see what they can pull out of the bag here. No pun intended. Actually, yes, it was.
Rose with the disc on the near sideline. Finding Proby. Proby will shoot that one. Churchland chasing it down, but unfortunately that one just too far out of her hands. You see that she turns on a second gear of speed when she makes those cuts deep, but unable. That one just too far on a laser out in front of her.
Her facial expression was awesome. She's like, I am getting this. Like you said, second gear for sure.
Lee now resetting to Fogel. Faking the huck there. Burgess looking for Fogel, and that one's picked off by Chenoweth. Had he caught that, actually would have been a Callahan as well, but was more focused on just getting the D.
Yeah, a couple of shots on the sideline here. Just catch it.
And O'Brien right away, the cheeky scoober for the second time. That combination of O'Brien with the scoober shot to Proby. And just like that, they're up 12-5. Only 3 points to go to close this one out.
Yeah, no further comments there. I think Penguin Village having the opportunity. Sorry, there's a bee trying to get at me here, but Penguin Village trying some new things, which is good. Like we said, they've got to give it a go, but Mastadon still just in charge of this game. So if you're just tuning in, which would be strange, but welcome aboard. We are streaming live from Surrey in British Columbia, smoky British Columbia this week for the Canadian Mixed Ultimate Nationals. You're watching the Mixed Masters Division, a rematch of last year's finals between Penguin Village from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Oh my goodness, say that 100 times in a row. And Mastadon from British Columbia. So local team here up 12-5 against Penguin Village. And it's been a good day. The sun's finally come out at the end of the day for us here. It's getting a bit chilly with the cloud cover. I know being in BC, we just always complain about the weather, but it's nice out here now, so I'm not complaining anymore.
Yeah, the sun broken through the clouds and the smoke cover a lot better than it's been the last couple days here as well, making this a much more pleasant first day here at CUC Surrey. See Campbell unleashing, looking for Lofstrom. That one out of his hands, the second attempt. That one will stay for the goal, and this time the offensive line of Penguin Village coming out twice in a row here and making it look easier than they have the rest of the game.
Yeah, and that great second effort we saw earlier in the game on the left-hand side of the field with the opportunity. I can't remember if it was the same player or not, had the chance on a second opportunity disc, but didn't come down with it this time, making no mistake on the second chance, chasing it down and keeping those feet in bounds to score the goal. So Mastadon now, the lead has been shortened to 6, but still up 12-6.
So only 3 points away here. Mastadon only need 3 holds, really, and they will win this game. Of course, I'm sure they will look to break and move ahead faster to end this one. 20 minutes remain here at CUC Surrey. We're in Surrey at Newton Athletic Park. Beautiful British Columbia that is a little bit covered by smoke. You can't see the mountains, unfortunately. Usually there is a view to the mountains from these fields. You'd likely get a shot on your camera of them, but not today. Maybe later this weekend. There is some rain on the forecast, which we could desperately use at this point.
Yeah, you know what? Being somebody who's lived in Vancouver for a while, it's a funny thought to wish for rain. It's funny because we usually get a lot of it, but we definitely could use it down here now, help the wildfires, help those men and women fighting the wildfires up north in BC, but we're fighting our own fires here down in Surrey. Mastadon on offense.
O'Brien will shoot a little inside shot to Alex Chu, who gets low. That one looking for LeBreton upfield, but can't quite get to that one as it's just shot a little bit behind where she was making her cut to. Chapman, that one's going to hit the wind and will be brought down by O'Brien. 10 yards from the end zone, in the middle as well now as he finds right centers it back to O'Brien. Moving it all the way to the far sideline for Chenoweth. And then the inside shot, making it look easy into the end zone. Sadler getting that goal, and they are 2 points away now, almost right on the doorstep here, 13-6.
Yeah, and making it look easy too. That inside-out throw, not easy to complete, but well, from that point of view, it may have been actually. So, Mastadon just making a show of it now, pulling out all the weaponry to show that they belong here and that they're going to go deep into this tournament. Like we said earlier, this is a rematch of last year's finals, so Mastadon definitely coming out a bit stronger in the pool play here to make sure Penguin Village knows who should have won last year, right? So do a quick announcement now as well. We'll mention it at the end of the game as well, but we'll be back tomorrow with more pool play with, or is power pool play tomorrow with, we'll be online at 9:45 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So that's 12:45 for you guys on the East Coast in Toronto and so on and so forth. And that game will be TT versus Lit, and then we're back again at 1:35 PST, 4:35 EST with Bunny Thugs versus T-Rad, and then the final game will be the mixed pre-quarter game, which we're not sure who's going to be between yet. That'll be a game time decision, but we'll have tons of streaming for you tomorrow as well. So Penguin Village starting with the disc here. Looking at a zone defense again. It's only 3-3-1 this time, not their 4-2-1 they were going with the last point.
Campbell and Hunter moving that around as Campbell, that shot that he loves, and Lofstrom was hanging out so deep that entire time. Campbell not fazed by the deep coverage there by Davidson, and they respond here. A couple trades now later in this game, and it's easy to see why these two teams could have been better matched earlier on possibly, but unable to generate that offense earlier in the game as it's still 13-7.
Yeah, looking straight into the eyes of the zone defense, making a big throw, good connection there. Could look for more of those at the beginning of the game, maybe open the deep game up earlier, but maybe too little too late now. It's 13-7 Mastadon on top. Penguin Village Mountain now has a chance to play some defense and see what they can do.
I think Mastadon as well here, comfortable to just hold 2 more times out to close this one out. Plenty of time remaining in this game with about 15 minutes to go, so all they need is 2 offensive holds and they will have won this game. And at this point, with 15 minutes left, hard to imagine that there would be enough time for Penguin Village here to make a comeback.
Yeah, I think when you mentioned it earlier that 6 points was doable with 25 minutes left, but now we're getting closer to the end of it. It's not as easy to do. It's got to be quick, but I'll give my opinion now. I don't think they're going to do it. So Mastadon coming down on offense, like you said, comfortable with 2 holds to make it a game.
Chenoweth will put that one over to the far sideline. Now a zone look from Penguin Village, something different thrown at this Mastadon team as LeBreton has it on the near sideline, faking the shot through the cup, and now back with Chenoweth. Over to Knuckle on the far side. Amy Milne there, you can see trying to pick off the reset as now it goes back to the hands of Chenoweth, who finds LeBreton. Now shooting into the middle for Gustafson. Holstering that one for a minute as LeBreton has it now. Hear the melt call there from Penguin Village. Rose now over to the far sideline for Knuckle. On the doorstep, 2 yards out here, faking the over-the-shoulder shot there. Knuckle look for the reset in the middle. Now that one will be shot into space for Wendy LeBreton for the goal and the hold, and now it is game point here for Mastadon.
Yeah, and lots of patience there, not trying too much, too quick as the new zone look, like you said, from Penguin Village, but able to work it slowly through, and a couple of breaks right through the cup to make it easier for them to move forward. So again, for anybody in the Vancouver area, you're welcome to come and join us down here in the Newton Athletic Park down in Surrey. It's just off the 72nd Avenue in Surrey here. It's a great location, lots of turf fields, a couple of grass fields as well. We're just looking around the park. It looks like most of the pool games are wrapping up for the day. But tomorrow we will be back, like I said, at 9:45 in the morning, and games will get started around then. So feel free, if you're in Vancouver, just come down, check it out. We got a tent from VC. VC set up a tent here with some cool merch. I love the logo from this year. So you can come down and get some sun hoodies, some T-shirts. They don't have any sleeveless though. That's what I wanted a sleeveless. Probably should have got it last week in Brampton because I think they had them last week. But come down here. There's a couple of food trucks. I can see Booster Juice that you can see in the background there. Come munch some food. There's a beer garden that's going to get going as well. But yeah, feel free to come join us and watch some Ultimate.
Shout out to Strangefellows Brewery providing the beer for this week as well. Thank you to all of our partners, of course, especially VC and Discraft Ultimate, our official disc and apparel partners. Layout Ultimate, our official glove of Ultimate Canada. Shameless plugs for them there as we look to see if Mastadon can break here to end this game. Hunter now.
I don't know if you guys heard this comment from the field, but the question was from the Penguin Village player, why is this girl poaching? Probably to try and generate a D.
Likely that is the reason. And now stuck here on this near sideline. Stall count definitely climbing. Can only try to go around. And Farouk Zaba will pick that one off. He's had several Ds in this game now, racking them up. Able to come down with that one. And Mastadon can go about 60 yards here to try to break for the victory. Karen Wright will put that one around, looking for Zaba, but this time it's picked up by Lofstrom.
Lofstrom, good awareness to see that come up and make the charge across the field to block it.
Now Stonehouse looking for the inside shot. Ali Tornquist just getting a little bit too casual maybe with that grab as it gives it back to Mastadon here with O'Brien. O'Brien puts that one around to Wright. Puts that one a little bit into the middle. And an injury called. It looks like maybe a cramp actually here from Darren Hunter on the far side for Penguin Village.
If it's a cramp from a Masters player, I'm surprised to see that happen. You see cramps happen more in the junior levels where people aren't drinking enough water and eating enough items. It's usually the Masters and Open and women's divisions. You see everybody consuming copious amounts of Gatorade and water on the sidelines as well as food. So always keep that in mind. When you're playing sports or outside and sweating a little bit, you should probably be drinking as much water as you sweat out. It's tough to do, but you should keep it up. Doesn't look like Mastadon's going to opt for an injury as to match that injury. So same 7 for Mastadon, just 1 new player for Penguin Village.
So Mastadon checking it back in, still looking to break for the victory as Baker now has it. That one, a miscommunication from O'Brien, passes it very nicely to the hands of Brett Campbell. Campbell now holstering a little bit to find Lee. Lee looking to Stonehouse. 2 yards from the end zone on this near sideline now as Lee takes it back in the middle. Looking for a chance to extend the length of this game here. Campbell on the doorstep for Penguin Village. Dishes it into the end zone. A little easy dish and run. Justin Lee with the goal. And that is a point and a hold here for Penguin Village.
So yeah, with that injury coming in, gave it a bit of a rest for the Penguin Village to gather their thoughts, but Mastadon did not gather theirs. It was a bit of a Sean O'Brien looking to go up the line, but I can't remember who had the disc, didn't think he was going to, so passed it to where he figured he would cut back to, but O'Brien's still going up the line, and like you said, perfect pass to the defensive team.
So Mastadon, again, we've seen them trade now from about 10-4 onwards. We've been trading offensive holds here, so definitely going to be a good thing for Penguin Village to remember going forward that if they do face this team later on in the tournament, that they were able to trade these points, stay with them, and run with them toe-to-toe on these offensive units. Looks like their O-line has definitely worked out a lot of the kinks as well, so definitely some positives to take away. Of course, they're not going to want to have the same start to this game that they had here today, so takeaways for learning, of course, and you can always learn something from every game you play. And then lots of positives here in the second part of the second half, especially.
Yeah, like you said, trading in the second half. That the Penguin Village unfortunately lost this game in the first half. They didn't come out as strong as Mastadon did, and Mastadon, good on them for using that to their advantage. It was a good pull, but it landed just out of bounds, it looks like. So Mastadon's going to pull it back to the center of the field right at the brick mark here.
Disc will be brought into the middle. Nako will get us back underway here with Mastadon. Puts the undershot to Alex Chu. Chu outfield now. That one faked off, as well as Knuckle takes it back and now puts it over to Ellis. Still swinging it around the back, a bit of pressure D there from the Penguin team as now they go upfield towards the end zone. Chu reeling that one in on the far sideline. Mastadon with another hold to take the victory here, 15-8.
Yeah, and an emphatic win there for Mastadon. There was, like I said, a little bit of no doubt from the halftime onwards as they led this game 8-4. coming out in this second half and really just putting their final stamp on it. Congrats to Mastadon to winning this this rematch of the finals from last year. They did a good job to put it away with no doubt. So 15-8 your final score.
Yeah, definitely lots of positives for this Mastadon team to take away. Some readjustments, I think, for Penguin Village going into power pools tomorrow. But that will do it for us today. We'll be back tomorrow morning at 9:45 a.m. We will have TT out of BC facing off against Lit from Calgary, Alberta. And then we will have the Bunny Thugs from Saskatchewan facing off against T-Rad out of Kelowna, BC. So 2 more pool play games at 9:45 and 1:35 p.m. tomorrow. After that, we will have a mixed pre-quarter game. We don't know who will be facing off in that one yet, but that'll be at 4:25. So thank you so much for tuning in with us today. For Rebecca Thompson and Lucas Main, it's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.